with the microphone to one of our younger members. And by that I mean club years rather than actual chronological years, of course. So Mike Harris has been a regular member for about 5 years, so still a relative newcomer. So Mike, it's all yours.
I'm not sure I can wait. Thank you very much, Carol. Hello everybody, we're having a good time. Yeah. Right, well, as Carol says, I'm supposed to be the newcomer. But it was about, actually I've only been a member for 4 years. It was about 5 years ago when I went to my local doctor to get some jabs for a trip to Nepal. And the nurse at the doctor's said, "You'd like Sutton Hill Walking Club." And the rest is history. So 4 years ago, February 2011, I got on the coach with a little bit of trepidation and sat next to Lawrence. It was the only empty seat. I couldn't understand that because every other month he was still the only empty seat. Anyway, off we went to Yorkshire, to Ilkley Moor. Is that Yorkshire, Anne? Right. So we went to Ilkley Moor and I thought I'm going to have a really nice social walk. Anyway, it just persisted all day. I spent the whole time, instead of having social conversations, trying to keep up with the rest of the group. And eventually we got on a very soggy coach. Anyway, 1 or 2 interesting walks. We did a walk to Holmfirth, which some of you may know is last of the summer wine country. And we were just getting to the coach in Holmfirth, passing the fire station. And I was walking with Lawrence again, surprisingly enough. And this woman pulled out the fire station and drove her car onto Lawrence's foot. Lawrence screamed, "Get off my foot." She panicked, got out of the car, went back into the fire station to fetch her husband, who was a fireman. Meanwhile, Lawrence has still got his foot under the car. So, eventually, the fireman came out and went absolutely hysterical laughing, which didn't help Lawrence at all. Anyway, we sorted the problem out and he got off. Anyway, I must mention the other thing you said, which was the infamous Rhinogs walk. And we had this very shy, unassuming girl without the right kit, and halfway round, after we'd been blown over and rained on, she hurt her leg. And several hours later, we got back to the coach. And I remember saying to Sylvia, I said, "I bet she doesn't come back again." And it was Lisa. And she's been a regular ever since. And she turned out not to be very shy and unassuming, because shortly after that she came with orange hair or blue hair and was off to Glastonbury. And then last year she went to Africa for a few months and spent some time with the Maasai doing some charity work. Anyway, I think the thing that I found absolutely wonderful about the Hill Walking Club is it's a very eclectic group. God, I managed to say that after a few drinks. I mean, people are from all kinds of different backgrounds, and I think that's what makes it very interesting. So I thought I'd have a little dream about, in my next life, what I might do and what experience I might get from people from the Hill Walking Club. So I thought, well, what would I like to do? And I thought, well, perhaps I'd be a Formula 1 car driver, and I could get Bob Price to make his Dunlop tyres for my car, and Ken and Colin could sort out the fuel injection from Lucas. Incidentally, Ken, I'm delighted the Hill Walking Club preserved better than Lucas. Anyway, if that didn't work out, I thought I might fly a Typhoon jet, and I could get Jo Hayward to write the software for the, as she does now. And if all else fails, Ranch could teach me how to run a power station. And then, having walked with Roger several times and become a great expert on special water and extended rods. I think I could probably run a window cleaning business. Incidentally, if you ever walk with Roger, as I did on Shibboleth last year, when he says he's got cramp in his thigh, and I fell for this and I bent down and was about to massage his thigh, and he said, actually the pain's in my groin. Anyway, having had one of these very lucrative jobs, I thought, well, I might like to build a nice new house, and I thought, well, who in the Hill Walking Club could help me do that? And I thought Gareth could get me a wonderful mortgage. He's actually a banker. He's been keeping this very quiet for a long time. And then Dave could, where's Dave? Dave could be my QS. Oh, you're there. Mike Bowen and Chris Moore could do the carpentry. Arthur, you could do all the services. Bernard, you could paint it. Phil Aldridge could paint me wonderful pictures for inside. Karen, you could, in my dotage, help me work the Stanner stair lift. And if I got any money left over, David Lloyd, with his Johnson Matthey, could actually make me gold bars. We haven't seen David Lloyd since the Lakes, have we? After his forecast that the Villa would lose to both the Albion games, we haven't seen him since. Actually, one of the joys of the Hill Walking Club for us football supporters is there are lots of different people from Stoke, Margaret, and the Villa, and the Blues, and the Albion. And of course we have our token Manchester United supporter, Roger Popjoy, typical, oh no, we've got more over there, but Roger, typical Manchester United, brought up in Zimbabwe and the Gold Coast, educated in Newport, lives in Sutton Coldfield, Manchester United supporter. Right, we might need some help on tax, and we've got a couple of tax specialists in terms of Howard and Gavin. Right. Roger, wonderful to help you with IT, and he can do it in French, apparently. And if it's not perfect, you'll land wherever you are, you can help out, can't you, wonderfully. And then I thought about Lynn, and I thought, how could Lynn help me? And, because she's a school nurse. And I thought in this new life, I'd actually regrow my shoulder-length blonde hair, and she could help with all the knits. I must tell you this story, actually. Last year, my 6-year-old granddaughter, in her school, they had a knit infestation. And I arrived to pick her up one day, and she ran out and she said, "Grampy, the aliens have landed." Right. Okay, who else have we got that I haven't mentioned? Ravinda, gynecology. I thought, what could we do with that? And then I thought back to the time when my first son was born, and that was in the days when fathers often didn't go to the birth. And I went to the birth, and the midwife and my wife were much more concerned about my well-being rather than the birth of my son. And I was put in charge of gas and air. So I was busily feeding my wife this mask so she could have gas and air, and we went on for about 20 minutes, and then I noticed it wasn't actually connected to anything. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about walking rather than me reminiscing. What experience can I get from serious hill walkers? Now, there's Davey Arnott, who's probably, in my experience, the best map reader I've ever walked with. He can tell you within 100 metres on a 50,000 scale map exactly where you are. Hopefully you can teach me that. I don't have to have the Paul Lambert accent, do I, as well? Carol, can you teach me to walk up the mountain 6 stones lighter than I am now? Maybe Anne can help with the dietetics. Bernard and Ranj, you can keep telling those terrible jokes, but then they keep you going, don't they? Catherine, psychology, to get me up the top of the mountain. John Woodward here is actually the best and luckiest man to ever be walking. He's the only man I know who fell 300 feet down a mountain and landed at the feet of a doctor and an off-duty policeman. I could do with Chris Moore's burst of speed when he gets within 5 miles of a pub. I could do with Colin's patience for Where's Colin? Where's Colin? Over there. For organising the coaches, which must be an absolute nightmare. And the other thing, I really like the hotels you pick for the coastal walks, because there's always a coach load of geriatrics about my age, and I've become a great expert on bingo now. John Collins is the only man I know who can collect money and make us all feel good about giving it to him. Anyway, I've led a few walks in the last 2 years. Just wanted to recount, before the last Quantox walk, I had an absolute real nightmare 2 days before, and I dreamt I was leading the walk with Manjit. Oh, not Manjit, I meant Ranjit. And we made a navigational area range, and we walked down into a sewer, and we walked for about a mile in this sewer with everybody behind us complaining. And eventually we turned a corner and there was Bob Price, who got us out of trouble, as always. Anyway, I think it's probably only since I've led the walks that to be more serious, that I've actually appreciated what the committee do. It is absolutely fantastic. They plan the walks, they organise the recce's, they organise the cars, and they make sure everything goes extremely well on the day. And that's tremendously important for all of us, and without the committee we wouldn't have the walking club that we have. And also thanks to the committee for organising an absolutely wonderful night tonight. So I'd like to propose a toast to the committee members past and present. So I'd like the committee members past and present to all stand up, and the rest of us raise our glasses. Could all the committee members past and present please stand so we can see you? And can we, the rest of us, raise our glasses to the committee past and present? Thank you very much.